Advanced battle tanks donated by Western allies have started to arrive in Ukraine, bolstering the country's armed forces after months of pleading for reinforcements. Ukraine appealed directly for Western-made tanks from at least April 2022. The Western-made battle tanks are considered in general better than every Russian tank fielded in Ukraine. However, experts warn that it's necessary to remain realistic about their likely impact on the battlefield, arguing that they will not work miracles even if deployed on a large scale and for prolonged periods of time. Furthermore, Ukraine will have to overcome significant training and logistical challenges to operate them. A further issue is that Western-made MBTs are generally much heavier than Soviet-era tanks, and there's little Ukrainian infrastructure, including bridges, which could support such vehicles. Nevertheless, Western-made MBTs are likely to provide the Ukrainian army with an advantage over Russian systems. In this video, we listed the top 5 best Western tanks donated to Ukraine. Let's get started. Number 5 is the Leopard 2A4. Production of the Leopard 2A4 began in 1985. It covered both the production of new vehicles and the modernization of older tanks to the standard. A total of 2,950 such tanks were produced for Germany, the Netherlands, and Switzerland. Weighing just over 55 tons, it's powered by a 1,500 horsepower engine, which gives it excellent mobility. The power-to-weight ratio is 27.2 horsepower per ton. For comparison, the most numerous Ukrainian tank, which is the T-64BV, has this ratio at 16.5 horsepower per ton. And the best Russian tank used in Ukraine, the T-90M, 23.5 horsepower per ton. Interestingly, the Leopard's reversing speed's just over 30 km per hour, and that of the T-64, 72, T-80, and 90 tanks from 4 to 10 km per hour. In addition, the 2A4's fire control system's still not bad. The gunner has at his disposal the dual magnification stabilized primary sight, equipped with a first-generation thermal imaging camera, and the ability to automatically track the target. In turn, the commander, unlike in most Russian tanks, has at his disposal the dual magnification stabilized observation and targeting device. But that's where the advantages end, as it doesn't have a night vision mode. This feature is present even in the oldest T-62s. Furthermore, the 2A4's armor is not the best by today's standards, and the main armament of the tanks donated from the West, which is a 120mm Heinmetal RH-120 smoothbore cannon, does not allow for the use of modern anti-tank ammunition, such as the DM-63, which allows for almost certain destruction of the most popular Russian tanks, which are T-72B, B-3, and B-3Ms. So far, 54 Leopard 2A4s have been donated to Ukraine from Canada, Denmark, Norway, the Netherlands, Poland, and Spain. Number 4 is the Challenger 2. It was accepted into service in the British Armed Forces in 1998 as a replacement for Challenger 1. While formidable at the time of its introduction, nowadays the Challenger 2 has a couple of issues. The first is its weight of 64 tons, and with additional armor, it increases to well over 70 tons. Interestingly, the heaviest mass-produced World War II German tank, the King Tiger, weighs 68.5 tons. Although the footage of the Challenger 2 showing the training of the Ukrainian crews suggests that the Ukrainian tanks will not be equipped with the additional armor, so still the weight can be a major challenge to the Ukrainian infrastructure, which is not suited for such heavy vehicles. On the plus side, the Challenger 2 is very well protected. The only weak spot is its lower glacis, which when not protected by the additional armor is just an equivalent of the 70mm of rolled homogeneous armor. Interestingly, the United Kingdom decided to donate to Ukraine the anti-tank munition with depleted uranium penetrator, namely the 120mm L27A1 APF SDS round, also known as the Charm 3. It could penetrate 610 millimeters of the rolled homogeneous armor at 3,500 meters. It's significantly less than the American M1A1 which can penetrate 840 millimeters at 4,000 meters. It's because of the drag caused by the high amount of friction between the projectile and the rifled barrel of the L-30A1 gun, which greatly decreases the velocity of the projectile. So despite having 11 calibers longer barrel than the Abrams, the penetration's almost 40% worse. Another issue is the usage of the 3-piece ammunition, which limits the length of the penetrator and makes it less upgradable compared to 1-piece ammunition types used by the Abrams and the Leopard 2. The next issue is a weak engine, which produces only 1,200 horsepower. For comparison, German and American-made tanks have 300 horsepower more. To fix most of these issues, the United Kingdom decided to upgrade 148 of its tanks to the Challenger 3 standard. It'll have a completely new turret with a new fire control system, third-generation thermals for the gunner and commander, and will be armed with the German-made Rheinmetall 120mm L55 smoothbore gun. Currently, the Challenger 2 is used by the United Kingdom and Oman. At the time of making this video, the United Kingdom donated 14 of its tanks to Ukraine, which made this country the third operator of this vehicle. Number 3 is the M1A1 Abrams. The first Abrams tanks entered service in 1980, and until now, after many modifications, it serves as the only main battle tank of the United States Army. Although the USA originally announced financing the purchase of 31 tanks in the M1A2 variant for Ukraine, due to the fact that these tanks wouldn't reach Ukraine by the end of 2023, it was decided to transfer 31 M1A1 SAs from the stocks of the National Guard, or 31 M1A1 FEP tanks withdrawn from the United States Marine Corps. Thanks to this, the delivery time will be shortened until autumn this year. These variants are a modification of the M1A1 introduced in 1985. In addition to recondition to zero-hour condition, modernization of the M1A1 SA and M1A1 FEP included improving the crew's situational awareness on the battlefield. For this purpose, the fire control system was modernized by replacing the gunner's sight with a new one equipped with a new laser rangefinder and a new second-generation thermal imaging camera. The commander, in turn, has at his disposal a fully stabilized observation cupola, which is equipped both with a day and thermal sight, and a remotely operated 12.7mm machine gun. Number 2 is the Strv-122. It entered service with the Swedish Armed Forces in 1997 as a winner of the competition held in Sweden for a replacement for the Swedish-made Strv-103s, and Centurions, which were called Strv-101 and 102s. Interestingly, the Leopard 2, which the Strv-122 is based on, beat the American M1A2 Abrams, which was second in this competition, and the French Leclerc, which came in third place. Interestingly, the fourth competitor was meant to be the Russian T-80U, of which 2 examples were delivered too late to take part in the competition. Anyway, the tanks were actually tested by the Swedes between the autumn of 1993 and the winter of 1994. Unfortunately, until now, the results of the tests are still classified. The Strv-122 is a Swedish variant of the Leopard 2A5, which was especially suited for the cold and harsh Nordic environment, as well as fighting battles in heavily forested or urban areas. The main difference between Leopard 2A5 and the Strv-122 is improved armor. As a result, the Swedish tank's 3 tons heavier. Like the 2A5, it's armed with an improved 120mm Rheinmetall RH-120 smoothbore cannon, which has a 44 caliber length barrel. The improvement allowed for the usage of more powerful ammunition, like the DM-63. So far, 10 of these tanks have been donated from Sweden to Ukraine. Number 1 is the Leopard 2A6. The Leopard 2A6, which entered service in the Bundeswehr in 2001, is a further development of the Leopard 2A5. The main differences of this 62 tons tank are enhanced frontal and side armor, as well as improved firepower. The Leopard 2A6 is armed with the Rheinmetall 120mm L55 smoothbore gun, which is a longer version of the earlier L44 used in the previous variants. It can use all older projectiles, like the DM33, but the longer gun's more accurate and allows the rounds to attain higher velocities, which turns into bigger penetration. Except for Germany, it's currently used by Canada, Finland, Greece, the Netherlands, Portugal, and Spain. So far, 21 Leopard 2A6s have been donated to Ukraine from Germany and Portugal. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Also, visit my second channel with military power comparisons. See you next time!